Hey everybody, it's Ed O'Keefe, and I'm here with Dr. Scott Gray. Welcome to Regen Profits and tapping into the $100 billion regenerative medicine boom that's happening right now. If you are a chiropractor, med spa, functional medicine doctor, or running a clinic and you're looking to add stem cell patients, hormone, peptide, and any other type of patient that would fall into regenerative medicine, we're super excited because if you want to capitalize on getting patients who are pre-qualified, pre-educated, there's no one who's done a better job than Dr. Scott Gray. Over the last, I think, 12 years it's been, Scott's one-to-many system, which we're going to share on this training, this interview, has generated multiple 8 and even 9 figures across 44 states. And for the first time ever, he's making it available to business owners who run chiropractic clinics, med spas, and functional medicine practices. So,
yeah,
Dr. Scott, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you, Ed. Awesome to be here. Excited to talk about this today.
Yeah, this is unique times, right? You have certain industries that are getting crushed. You have certain industries that are booming, and then you have trends that come along once in a lifetime. I mean, AI is one of them, obviously, but regenerative medicine is the other. With that, you have problems. Clutter in the market space. Competitors are coming in, private equity's coming in, and a lot of people are trying to get it, their piece of it. So why don't we start off with just kind of sharing your thoughts on where we're at with the state of the union a little bit in the industry, and what opportunities and problems people are
yeah,
seeing.
Definitely. So, I mean, the opportunity is huge. More and more people are looking for these types of treatments, any type of regenerative medicine. People are kind of sick and tired of the old model.
Yeah.
But again, there's so much confusion on what's right, what's wrong. Even doctors that we see doing it are using their verbiage wrong. They're kind of sharing the wrong messages. And one of the things that we've worked so hard to do is figure out how to do it the right way, do it in a way that, falls in line with FDA and FTC and all those different types of things, and like really get the model dialed in, because we're just starting to go at such a big level. It's like, we got to make sure all this stuff, and we worked on that for a long time, but we've tightened up the ship even more and more. And as we've done that, it's kind of gotten to the point where I started to think to myself, how could I help more people? Like we've got all these groups out there helping people that have used my system that we've created, but I thought, well, where did I start? And it was in an office, seeing patients every day. And I started to think to myself, what's the best way to get out in the market now and help doctors kind of do what we did, but in their own office? Because I see the opportunity there, and I'm just trying to figure out the best way to get to all those people. And I think that if we work with, different groups, we can help them get to that level themselves and help improve their lives and their patients.
Yeah, so specifically, like right now, you have teams out there with one of your companies every single week doing workshops, in person, lunch and learns, dinners, where people are showing up and they're becoming stem cell patients and exosome patients and regenerative medicine patients. But one of the biggest questions that you kept getting was, well, I just want to go to my local. They're looking for a provider locally that they can trust, which then ignited our conversation
that really
initially.
That's what tipped us off
to say, okay, well then, if we want to reach more people, we need to start working with clinics and local businesses.
People, that's what they really want.
That's what they really want. And so just so everybody who's watching understands this, like this is working right now across 44 states. This is something that is not guesswork. No worrying, wishing. Is it a new tactic? Is it a new agency that's going to like flood my practice? And you're hoping and wishing. And we've all hired crappy agencies that have wasted our money. What I wanted you to share here now is, so this is already happening. We're going to share how they could possibly work with us on it. I want you to take everybody back to I went into chiropractic, and then take us all the way into discovering why the one-to-many model is the way to freedom.
Yeah, absolutely. So started my own practice, actually with my brother. We started a practice together back in 2004, and we started to grow that practice, and it was a lot of work. Obviously, we started from zero and started building it up, and then honestly, it got to be pretty hard about 4 years in. He's like, Scott, I got a family. I got to feed my family. I was single at the time. He's like, I'm out.
You were single.
I was single.
Okay.
And he had the family. And he's like, I'm going to go do something else to make more money and whatever,
Yeah.
like this, see where we can get, better.
Well, what was hard? Just to kind of
just getting patients to come in, going and finding patients. I went into a small town that already had like 9 or 10 chiropractors. And, it was just like this uphill battle of us trying to, find people out there that needed what we want, had the resources to get what we had for them. And it just felt like this giant uphill battle of trying to get this one person over here, get this one person over here. But then, you get to the beginning of the month and you got to do it all over again. And it's funny because we would go back at the end of the year and look at our taxes, and it's like, oh, like we actually did halfway decent this year, but the roller coaster is so up and down.
Yeah.
It feels stressful the entire year, even though when you go back and look at it, you're like, okay, like we're okay, we got through it. But he needed more, so he wanted to move on. And so what I did is I was like, all right, I got to figure this thing out on my own. And being single, I just became the biggest student of marketing and business growth. I read a book called The E-Myth. I know I've talked to you about this before with Gerber.
Michael Gerber, yeah.
I read Cash Flow Quadrant with Robert Kiyosaki. And what they're saying in there is you can't be the person doing all of the stuff in your business if you want to grow your business. So the E-Myth, they talk about the lady was baking all the pies. You're not growing a big pie company if you got to bake all the pies. And so I started thinking to myself, I need to get out of the practice and I need to get to a point where I'm not the one seeing all the patients.
Yeah.
And so honestly, that was the first mental hurdle that I had. Most doctors will hear that and be like, I went to school for this. I got my diploma for this. It's what I do.
Yeah.
Why in the world would I stop doing what I need to be? And
which is why, I mean, you're talking about like that is the creator's dilemma, right? Like you became what you are because you're passionate about that.
Yeah.
But you can't grow the business beyond yourself until you realize you're a business owner that has that thing that provides a service. But it's also, I wanted to point this out, it's also why less quality doctors or less quality, whatever you want to call it, nurse practitioners, med spas, or entrepreneurs can come into your space with this mindset and immediately start gobbling up all your patients. And you're like, well, why are people going to them? They don't even do what I do. Yeah, because they're approaching it from the business is attract patients, convert patients, and sell them those patients more stuff. Like that is the business.
That's it.
No matter what you're in.
Yeah, and it's really finding that market to message match, right?
Yeah.
That we talk about a lot is, we've got to make sure we're saying the right thing to the patients. And like most doctors that are out there they're extremely smart. They're probably a better doctor than I am. I decided to get more on the business aspect of things. Yeah. But they're talking very doctory, as one of my friends always used to say to me. And it's just, we've got to simplify it, get the right message to the people so that they want to go down this path of regenerative medicine. You can give them the answers that they're looking for and not just another guy, making it so you stand out, you do something different. And many times it's very hard to do that I remember the days when I would go in and I'm finishing up notes from the day before, going right into seeing the first patient, see patients till lunch, scarf down lunch, see patients till the end of the day, stay and work on notes, and think to myself, how in the world am I going to work on my business or grow my business? And it wasn't until I got over that hurdle and said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hire that associate and get another doctor in under me, so that'll free up a little bit of my time and I can work on the business a little bit more and start to figure this thing out. And so that actually freed me up then to do more of what I wanted to do. And that was really to educate people. I was really obsessed with getting the message to people, educating them so they can make the best decision in their healthcare. And really that's when I started going out and really building out all of my one-to-many type systems of doing dinner talks. And I literally started this by going out in front of like a Kroger's or a Walmart, I handed out cards to people while they're walking in to get groceries or food or whatever. And I would invite them to a dinner. And I would do that until my talk was full for the next night.
Is that right?
And then I would go home and then I'd go work the next day and then go do that talk the next night.
Yeah.
So that was my first experience.
Yeah, we're not going to teach you to go to Kroger's just so you're aware of it. Like technology and social media and the internet has helped us reach more people faster and less expensively.
It is much better now. You don't have to go through that pain that I went through. But
and can I say one more caveat? I also just want to kind of say, like, and if you're sitting out there and you don't have like another person yet, we're not. You could actually, or with what we're going to show you, you could start doing one-to-many virtual workshops or in-person workshops, and not even hire the associate yet, or the other person yet. That's your first point of leverage. And then the associate can be the second point of leverage. If you already have a team that can leverage you, great. Now you have to get audience and reach leverage. Those are just two different types of leverage. And we're marketers at heart. If he wasn't cracking backs and being in the clinic at the time, he'd probably start with the marketing first today if he started from scratch, correct?
100%.
Yeah. Yep. And that's why in one of the businesses we can send nurses out to houses, because the marketing does the job, whereas in your clinic, we want to give you a predictable system that brings in patients that are choosing what you're offering. And so that's where we're at. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, honestly,
amazing.
That was like the first step into the one-to-many, got the associate, and then it really was all about leverage, right? I'm always thinking, how do I get to the furthest end of the leverage curve as possible? Because, we've got that 80-20, right? Everyone says 20% of your patients create 80% of your revenue, et cetera. But then you just break down that 20 to an 80-20 within that. Then break down that 20 to an 80-20 within that. And so it's like, I've always been about how do I get this message out to more people? And so the one-to-many, and then what I started doing was I actually got another associate, and I got completely out of the practice to where I was not adjusting anyone. Now, this is actually important for down the road for valuation of my business and being able to sell it. But I got out as the doctor and as the guy, and I made it less about me and more about the team and the business, and create a brand, right?
Yeah.
That was something that was significant there. And so
and build a system. Because like folks, without a system, your brand means nothing, because nobody's you don't have a system. And so one of the big mistakes, working with practices and firms and experts for so long is you're told, like, oh, just get really good at what you do and you'll create a brand and get your name out there. And what we're talking about is like, no, don't get your name out there. Get the patients you want that are going to pay you in here, and then they're going to go rave about you. And so you're using a system, an oil well, like machine, like going back to Gerber, that can produce for you, and the brand grows because now you're getting paid to get paid, and you're getting paid to grow your brand. Like that's it. It's flipping it. And I just want to make that, I know we're saying the same things, but just subtle distinction for the viewer.
It's all about the nuance. It's all about the nuance of it. And so, in doing that, it gave me that time to build out those systems. So I was the guy in the back building out, people talk about funnels and emails and video content and all this stuff. So I started, getting all of that stuff together and building the system out so that it could run without me. And the thing that really spurred that was, when my daughter, when my wife was pregnant in 2014, and I was like...
Was that your first child?
First child.
Okay, great.
And so I'm sitting there thinking, I need to be able to be home with her. We didn't have a lot of family support. So it's her and I. And it's like, I can't be at the office 12 hours a day, and like, I need to figure this out. And so that's when I started using... life constraints force you to think differently. It totally changed my whole thinking process. And I was like, I can't be doing talks. I need to be able to have this happen online without me. And so now eventually we're doing all of it, and hiring other people to do it. But it's all part of the system. And like,
so good.
Like you said, like you'll build into that leverage. You'll start with one leverage point, right? It's like, okay, it's me here. How do I attract more patients that are going to want to do what we do? We do that one-to-many, and we go out and we start with that and start to build it out. Okay, now that we've done that, revenue's gone up, we can hire someone else to bring them in, right? And so there's just a system that you go through of like, this is your next step, this is your next hire, this is your next step. And so that's what we want to, that's what I love helping people do, is just understand how to grow your practice and get freedom from your practice. That was my ultimate goal. Luckily I was able to do it. Took a long time, took much longer than I thought it would. But it also turned out bigger than I ever thought it would. But I still, again, I'm always kind of looking for a 1 year, 3 year vision, a moonshot goal. And my moonshot is just to be able to have, this system working for doctors everywhere, clinics everywhere, so that I know that I will get to reach more people for regenerative medicine than, most people out there. So, and it's not to say, like, that's not for me to like a beat on my chest thing. It's literally just it's exciting that I get to do it and use this system, and I kind of figured out how to do it.
Well, in a second, we're going to talk about how regenerative, what you saw by working with patients, how regenerative medicine, when you started seeing the results with patients, you're like, oh, wow, this is different. I will talk about that 1 second. I just want to say to our viewers, like, whenever the thought of like, hey, I'm going to go on video or like Zoom and speak to people and like do a presentation or go in person, it almost scares 95% of the population away. And we will get to how to replace yourself from doing that if that's not your personality. Like me, I love being in front of the camera. I love talking, right? Scott, you had to work hard at that, which we're going to talk about that just to get out, because you're an introvert at heart.
I hate it.
The first like 5 times we met, like at seminars and stuff, I don't know if he ever talked other than be like,
I'm always the quietest guy in the group. Almost always.
So we'll cover that. We'll get to that. So if you feel like, I don't know if I'm the right person, we're going to get to that in a moment. I do want to like cover though, how the boom is affecting like the population, and just by getting a small percentage of the increase in the wave. Like number one, if you're not doing something that's proven, predictable, systematic, you're missing out on your neighbors, your people in your 1 mile radius right now that want to come to your place, and they don't even know you exist, and you think they do because you've done brand awareness marketing that doesn't work. What we're talking about is impacting people through impacting people. Can you share briefly about why you decided to go all in on the regenerative medicine side and then eventually selling your practices so that you can do stuff like this?
Yeah, definitely. So actually the way it started was met our buddy Charlie, and he told me about medically integrating a practice. And he taught me that, we could bring in someone that could do medical procedures and like even like natural medical procedures and things that I thought were pretty cool. So he said, he connected me with a guy to do that. And so we started talking with this doctor, and he started saying, hey, let's go ahead and get all this set up. We started working with an MD, a nurse practitioner. And then eventually I started hearing about stem cells. And they're saying the stem cell thing is happening. And they knew that I was kind of the guy that has built a lot of these systems because I've already done it for chiropractic. And they said, hey, would you come down and look at the stem cell thing with us? And that's with the medical doctor in Florida. I was actually in Ohio at the time. And
so were you doing one-to-many workshops prior to stem cells?
A few, I did some chiropractic ones. Now, the good news about that is they were never as successful as Regen, just because of Regen's just...
I just want to get a timeline.
It's different. But I really perfected the structure of my talks and my close with the chiro. And then once I was able to flip that over to Regen, that's when it just went crazy. So I started working with this doctor in Florida and going down, meeting with him, talking with his patients before and after, and learning about what stem cells or, the tissue allografts, whatever people call them, what they were doing for people. And so I just got more and more interested in it, studied it, started working with these MDs, and then hired the medical teams that I needed to bring them in and do that knew what they were doing. And so I opened a practice in Ohio, that focused on that, the regenerative medicine. We did that for a couple years, and then it was probably less than that I sold my chiropractic practice, because I sold my chiropractic practice in July of 2017. I probably made that decision in February that year. So basically what happened was I realized, what do they say in the Bible? If you serve two masters, you can't serve two masters, right? And a house divided is going to fall.
Yeah.
My attention was getting divided.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want the chiropractic to go down. I had a great thing, and I wanted to do the regen stuff so bad. And I had an associate that had been with me for a couple of years by that time. And I said, hey, would you like to buy the practice? I'm going to go off and do this regenerative medicine thing, just because I saw the results. I saw what I was doing, and I was having so much fun working with these medical teams. And it was funny, it actually forced me into freedom from the practice because I wasn't a medical doctor. Because I might have been the one as a medical doctor just to jump in and start doing stuff.
And that's another objection. We're probably gonna have people watching like, well, I'm not a medical doctor. So keep going on this and then explain how you work with medical teams in order to be able to.
I just thought of it like a hospital, right? A hospital, a giant organization.
Yeah.
Who's at the top of that? A CEO, a COO, a PR person, like business people that find the best clinicians around them to bring them in to provide amazing care, right? And then they have to do all the other business stuff. And I'm like, well, that's what I got to do. I got to bring in medical professionals that are awesome, that can do this and provide amazing treatment. And then I can run this, and I can work on getting someone to go do more talks. I can work on, hiring more nurse practitioners and training them, and going and looking at the products and what's the best product, and really, doing the quality control and things that I needed to do to make the thing work. So it kind of forced me to do that, which I still liked educating people, and I would do the education part, but then just hand them over to the medical team to do the rest of it. So we did that in Ohio. And then once I sold the chiropractic practice, my wife and I just wanted to move to Florida. We had, our daughters were very young. So it was like, great time. Let's go do it now. Time. So we went down to Florida, and I just decided I wanted more practices. I wanted more regenerative medicine practices. So I started going and working with different teams, and we started 8 practices on the west coast of Florida with regenerative medicine. Still had Ohio going because I had an amazing team there. There's a lot of people that ran that were just like my core team. Yeah. That were still keeping that going. And so we did that for several years until COVID came, and a lot of it was based on talks at redirects with people with experimental care. The model was like totally not COVID compliant. So we redirected everything. And then we started, really focusing more on going out to people and helping people. So I worked with some folks, a team that created a system that basically took what I had done in the offices and said, let's do this thing out and really expand it. And so they were kind of the first group to license my material back in 2018. And I think, they've done multiple 8 figures with the model. And so it's with
salespeople, not doctors. Correct?
Yeah, we call them chief education officers.
Chief education. Think about that, folks. Imagine inside your business, you have a chief education officer, and we'll talk about where in the steps of leverage that comes into play. But they get you have someone interview them, hire them for you, then or then they come through obviously in our thing, but then they get trained on your system the same way now we're making available to chiros, mod spas, functional medicine doctors, so that they could do it there and reach people there. But it's pretty amazing. It has nothing to do with their medical background.
No, all they're doing is think of a PR person for the hospital. Yeah. They go out and they give a presentation. Yeah. And if they think they need the care, they go in and see the doctor. Yes. I mean, so good. That's it. I mean, it's just like, it's like what's the hospital? I have a PR person out there talking about what we do, explaining it. And then if they want to go further, they can set an appointment with the medical team to go meet with them and see if it's actually something that's going to qualify. And the one thing I want to speak to that you just said was, I'll just share this story. So I was talking with one of my buddies that he helped grow. He ran a sales team that grew and sold a software company in Silicon Valley. And I was just talking to him about how he did it. He's like, Scott, my secret weapon was my sales guy. I was like, what are you talking about? He said, I had a guy that had a system for hiring salespeople, and we locked it in on exactly who I needed because I knew exactly who I needed. And everyone he got me worked out.
Wow.
And so I had the best salespeople in Silicon Valley, and we just crushed it. And I said, is he still working? And he said, yeah. So I've worked with this guy over the last year. He always takes our top 5 to 10% of salespeople, and we continually put them through processes to refine exactly who is the best person.
Yep.
So when I work with offices now, I can guarantee them that this person's going to work out 98% of the time. This person's going to be amazing for you. And again, being an introvert, I didn't always like getting up in front of crowds. I didn't like talking about money with patients.
Yeah.
I didn't like feeling like I was a salesperson. And the best thing a doctor can do for freedom in their practice is to get someone that can communicate like a PR person for them and have a case manager in the office that can do these things.
Yeah.
So they can just focus on clinical care and helping more people. That, I'm telling you.
Or hiring your associate if that's what you want to do. Yeah. So that's freedom. Cool. I love
Absolutely.
it. I love it.
Yeah.
This is amazing. So I don't want to take you sideways if you were on a thought there. What I did want to talk about was two things. One is, for everybody who's watching and you're like, we're considering, or we added peptides, we're doing some stem cells. Oh, question, how would somebody, if they're already selling stem cells right now, then this isn't you can like just take a deep breath for like 30 seconds. But if somebody's like, we like to add stem cells to the clinic, how do people do that? Like, how do they medically integrate?
Medical integration is, so I'll just tell you how I did it, and I've helped a couple other offices do it. And that is really, you're hiring a medical director, right? That's going to oversee your protocols and everything that you do. And you've got your nurse practitioner. You set up that entity, and I don't want to get too far ahead of myself because
it's okay.
You've got to check with your attorneys because every state's different.
Yep.
Like in Texas, it's got to be owned by a medical doctor.
Yeah.
So I couldn't just start a medical clinic.
Is that right?
I would have to go into business with the medical doctor and say, hey, do you want to build stem cell clinics together? I'll kind of do the business and marketing education side if you want to do the medical side, right? And you could create that together. But some states you don't need that. So there's different ways in which you have to do it based on where you are and how close your medical doctor has to be to the office and all that. But one of the things that we've also really nailed is being able to hire nurse practitioners and find them all over the country, because that was one of the big issues at the beginning. Like, how do I find someone that's going to want to do this? And there's a lot of nurse practitioners out there that maybe have their regular job or they're working like 312s and they want to just go and do like a day in an office, so that kind of a thing. So there's lots of opportunity, but you do have to look into your state and what the laws are there. But typically you're working with a medical director, and whether they might want to do injections and treatments themselves, or they might want to have like an MA and an NP that are actually doing treatments, exams, and all those types of things. And then you can set that up. You could have them rent space in your office. You could set up your own office. But again, you just have to look at the legalities where you are. But when I integrated, it probably took me 2 or 3 months to get integrated, and we were good to go.
Well, what I think is super, so going back to this, I want to go, what's really interesting right now, just from a profitability perspective and a enterprise value perspective, is like we've seen it, like when we generate leads for, say, somebody who's interested in stem cells, and they list out, they take the survey and they have all these problems, joint pain, blah, 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 just want to get my life back, blah, blah.
Yeah.
The thing is that a lot of the peptides that are coming out now as well, because the one challenge you have with stem cells is they come in and it's just a one-time transaction.
Right.
But if you're in business locally, I now have people that are like, well, they come in with these problems, whether it's shoulder, knee, injection. Okay, those are better. But guess what? I'm fatigued, or I have low T, or I have low estrogen, or whatever they're male or female. And now I have all these other options. Like I could go on a hormone replacement therapy, or there's a peptide stack. This wasn't here. I mean, hormones were, but now peptides from a residual income with layered on top of hormones, all of a sudden regenerative medicine clinics are more profitable than dental implant centers. I mean, it's changing the games. And,
it is, because it works.
It works,
right?
Yeah.
People are doing these peptides and they're losing weight, they're gaining muscle, they're feeling more energy, life is changing for them. And so they want to stay on it. They want to keep doing it. And so that's the beauty of the system. Is the system really was a chiropractic system that I built. Yeah. And then I got into regenerative medicine and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to do it for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And so then it's like with peptides, with functional medicine, it's just literally rinse and repeat with our model.
Change the message and our unique process of ads, messaging.
Yep.
Automation, yes, totally, which we'll get into a little bit. But what I think is really important is that to realize, like, look, if I am able to get 100 new patients into my practice and or business, and 30% end up going on, say, a monthly retainer of peptides that work for people, all of a sudden your average patient value or average client value just skyrocketed, and your valuation as a full entity to get acquired by private equity or by someone who's looking to buy a clinic just dramatically went up. This was not available, folks, to us 10, 12 years ago. And
private equity loves medical right now.
The freedom formula here is pretty outrageous. You were talking about what is the tipping point offer?
So with the tipping point offer, the whole idea is that how do you stand out?
Yeah.
Right. So if you look at, a normal person that goes to buy a TV, don't really know anything about a TV, and you go to Best Buy and they all look the same to you. You have no clue. And it's like, this one's 700 and this one's 2,000. Why would I buy it here?
Yeah.
I can go to Amazon and get it for $100 cheaper or $200 cheaper. Well, Best Buy did something really smart. And what they did is they said, hey, if you buy that here, we're going to come to your house today. We're going to get it out of the box. We're going to put it up on the wall. We're going to take all the trash away. We're going to hook it all up for you.
Yeah.
We're going to test it, make sure it works. If you have any problems, then right? So why do I use that example? It's going above and beyond. Like, everyone else is just like a commodity in the business. I can go get treatment here. I can go get treatment here. You're going to do this. What we did is we started to really look at the process of how can we make what the patient gets the best thing possible, but present it in a way that is easier for them, more white glove, more concierge, where they feel special, VIP, make them feel special, give them more support. And we created something that no one else offered.
Yeah.
It's a tipping point offer that nobody else offered. So we were totally different in the marketplace. Obviously, people start to copy, just like, they always used to ask Ray Kroc with McDonald's. They said, you come out with something new and, Burger King's got it a week later and they copy, and they're like, well, we innovate faster than they can copy.
Yeah.
I really see that's really where I fit in, is I'm more of on the innovation side of things and just kind of creating the new model and making the model better and that type of thing for offices. And that's how we've done this, because I'm always thinking, how do we do it better?
Well,
how do we do it better?
And then can you just walk everybody through like pillars, like what is the model?
Yeah, so I created this thing called the patient infusion model, patient infusion method, and it's not about infusing them with anything. It's about infusing your practice and growing it. And it starts with, how do we get our hand up? How do we start to get leads? How do we talk to those people? When they come into our practice, then we've got, how is the front desk working with them, right? There's a whole system around that. How do we deal with money in our office, right? What are the systems around that? What do you need to have instilled in your office to be able to take the right payments, the options you can give? How do you give a presentation? How do you hire the right people to get leverage in your business?
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like all the steps that I had to take. So how do I get leads? How do I have a great staff that greets them and makes them excited to be here? How do I, deal with money and collections and all that? I need to do seminars. How do we do that? I need someone to do seminars. How do we hire that person? Here's how you hire that person. Here's how you get them in the office. How do I do a consult with a patient? So I have a whole section on how do we sit there with a patient and talk to them, whether that's you or the case manager after the diagnosis. But literally, it's step by step, every part of the flow that you have to do in your practice, from introducing yourself to a patient to then becoming a brand ambassador for you, telling everyone about you. And so, I mean, I don't want to get into
Can I ask you a question though? Like, so when you go into like I think it would be too much for that right now anyway, but it's like, by generating the leads and then having them watch a presentation first, that's proven.
Yeah.
What is the quality? This is kind of where I was going more to it. So like, you generate leads, they watch a presentation, either virtual or in person. They sign up for a paid consult. Right? So you're not offering just free consultations. So you have a higher quality lead. What is the difference that you saw when patients saw your presentation before they came in and accepted treatment?
Oh, it's night and day. Like, you don't want anyone that hasn't seen the presentation, because what happened, the presentation's been built in a way to answer all the questions that are out there. It's answering every we've heard all the questions, they're all the same. Yeah. And so we get it all in the presentation. So they get all their questions answered before they come see you. So the biggest change was just time of the doctor. They come in and they're like, I really like this. I just have one question.
That's totally what it is. Yeah.
I just have this. Or I've had people come in with like cash and just lay it down and say, how many injections can I get for this? And it's like, hold on, we got to do an exam, and we got to, we got to do this right away. But getting someone that is educated, they've had all the normal objections answered, and we just walk them through the process. You want that person coming in kind of knowing who you are, a little bit about your practice, and knowing that they kind of connect with you. Because the reality is, there's going to be people that would connect with me in an office that, would not connect with my competition down the street, and vice versa. To where it's like, oh, that tall, lanky guy, we don't have anything to do with him.
Which actually, I think you're bringing even a better point up for those of you worried about like competition. Like I forget the guy's name, wrote the book, A Purple Cow, but like Seth Godin, but like people who are like you and like your vibe and like your communication style and who you are, like Scott's already shared, he has two daughters. I have 7 kids. Family people are more likely to be attracted to that than a committed, I'm going to be single the rest of my life, I don't want to deal with it's not that they're anti-family, it's just that if they see a different person that they relate to better, they're going to that person. It's just, so which is why this is so important for you to understand. If you're watching this, you're like, oh, I'm in a super crowded market. Well, exactly. Then be different by running a system that everybody else isn't doing. And let me just tell you this, if everybody in your area started running this system, the only thing that would happen is there'd be a lot more patients educated on the benefits of stem cells, exosomes, peptides, hormone therapy. And guess what? All your clinics would have more people because the awareness of the community would be so much more sophisticated. Now, can I keep my ramble? Because I like this part. So like when Dr. Scott, so now then you take it to the next phase, which is going to be a part of the program when working with us on this, is another part of differentiating yourself is you do what we're Dr. Scott and I are doing right now. You create opportunities to educate people, to reach more people. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube have never made it easier, and even TikTok, for us to reach people that are interested in the content that you are producing. Now, Dr. Scott talked about your tipping point offer. What I'm going to tell you this is, whatever objection you are facing the most in your business, create a video that answers that question and then run it for $3, $5 a day in your local area. I'll give you a couple examples. Like when I work with dental implant doctors in the past, when people think of dental implants, the first question they have is, aren't dental implants expensive? And so our best converting video was one that addresses cost, fees, investment up front. And you do a 3-minute video explaining the whole thing. This is how we finance people.
In law, for personal injury attorneys, the average, if I win for you, so I don't get paid until the case is over, and we win, is, so let's say it's 30%.
Yeah.
But one of the quickest ways to just add pure net profit is to raise your fee. Same thing is true in any industry, by the way. So whether I am doing 30% or 35%, 36%, that's a negative if I'm laying out people like firm A versus firm B. Well, why don't you just address it in your first video? Why our clients are super happy to pay higher fees with us?
Yep.
And let me explain what that means. Is like you can go with a non-trial lawyer who's going to try and settle as fast as possible, or us who are proven trial attorneys, and then you can lead it. So that's the frame. Then you share, let me tell you a case study. And the insurance company was trying to settle for $1 million. We would have gotten paid, let's say, or you could have paid firm A $300,000. You kept $700,000, or that case came to us. We went to trial, or we pushed it all the way to trial, and we settled for $11 million. And so, yeah, you paid us a higher percentage. So we made $3.6 million, and my numbers are a little off on that. But you just made $7 million. So what do you want? What do you want? Do you want the $700,000 at a lower or higher percentage, or do you want that? That's a framework that you could run as a simple little video ad that will attract people to be like, "Hi, you're more expensive, but this is the place to go to."
Yeah.
You could do that in any type of medicine. Like, hey, so let me explain why when you come to our clinic, people are happy to pay us more than the guy down the street. Like, number one, when we do all your XYZ hormone levels, and when we run you through this panel, and we do that, it's a X $100 fee, and then our stack is this. Well, you can go elsewhere where they just do everything for free. You can do that, but they're just going to run you through that, and patients tell us that. And that's your frame. And so guess what? When people walk in, they know you charge more. They know that it's an investment. With stem cells specifically, and we've talked about this training our teams and training our clients is stem cells start, 5,500 minimum limit. Everyone hides this. Why hide it? It only creates frustrated leads that are expecting to pay less. Now, if you lead with a condition, like let's say, hey, you have inflammation in the body, and you're wondering, is it peptides? Is it just because I have low testosterone? It's a little more sophisticated question.
Yeah.
Or are you considering stem cells? Well, we have good news, bad news, and we at our clinic we talk about good, better, best. We go, this is our good options. Here's our better. Here's our best. And when you come in, we're going to try and find the best option for you. But you tell us the pathway based on all our different options. You're in control. There's no one pushing you. There's no one pressing you.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like a lot of people think, like, oh, like, are you doing like high pressure sales when we say sales guy? Or whatever. Like, it's not at all. It's really the opposite. The patient has all the control in everything that we do. But again, it's like you said. It's setting the frame.
I see. Sorry, Scott.
You should be in the video.
Yeah, right. Just so everybody knows, this is you're actually at my house. This is my dog. So the one thing that happens is that when people come to our trainings and they work with us is you're taught a couple of things. One, how to sell without being salesy. Number two is how to present without ever the prospect or lead feeling like they're being pushed or sold or aggressively handled. The framework, when done properly, is people are coming up asking how quickly can they get started, and then you've already mentioned this. literally when they ask one question, they're really just saying like, okay, here's all my issues, here's my problem, here's my age, here's my thing. Will it work for me? And if they qualify, it's as simple as, yeah, it'll be perfect for you because of reason 1, reason 2, reason 3. Correct?
Yeah. Well, I think, like, just going back to the price thing real quick too, just the reality is that people value things of what they pay for.
They invest in it, 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's, they did a test with this with wine, right? And they had people do a low budget wine, a middle level wine, and a high level wine, had to taste them all. They put the prices in front of them, and every single person, literally, I mean, probably 99 out of 100 picked the highest price as the best, right? And then the middle is the next,
right.
and the low is the lowest. They were all the exact same wine.
That's crazy.
Right? So it's like people, literally our minds would make us appreciate something more, like something more, value something more just because of what we spend for it. But it's not about that. I always tell people, it's great to have high prices if you're like outdoing everyone on value, right?
Yeah.
If you're giving them so much value that what they're paying is, 1/10 of what they should be paying because of what you're giving them. And I think of, I'm a Disney guy, so I go to Disney a lot, and I'll spend more to go to Disney than I will to go to Six Flags, just because I like the experience better, right? People complain about Disney and
Because it is better.
prices. 'Cause it is better,
Yeah.
but it's more expensive, right? And there's a lot of people out there that just want the best thing. I would say, the most expensive treatment is the one that doesn't work.
Right.
So if you go to a place that doesn't do the right treatment for you, they don't know what they're doing, they're not giving you everything you need, then you're not giving the value, so they wasted their money. Even if they, that 30%, 35% that you talked about, even if they spent a little less but got zero result, but they spent a little bit more over here and got the result they wanted, the most expensive treatment's the one that didn't work because they got zero for their money. It's all about value we give in return. And so our whole system is based on, we find out from you, the things that you're doing in your practice, and how do we take those things and build the biggest value package. And in the system, it kind of shows you how to do that. Like we won't necessarily do that for you, but the system building these value packages so that you are the one that has the unique package that is most valuable, so you can charge the most, but they love paying the money for it because it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one of the easiest things we've talked about before is like, what does it cost? Just in anything. Because by the way, people are going to be asking in a moment, like, what does it cost to work with Dr. Scott? And it's always the wrong question, right? Because the first thing is that they fail prospective patients and people watching this right now. You're failing to ask the right question. What is it costing you right now and every day, and for the last year, in the last 3 years, last 5 years, of you not having a system that's predictable, proven, and is going to bring in high-paying cash patients into your practice? That's the right question.
Yeah.
Because now you know what you're measuring up against. Like, okay, if I spend $50,000 with Dr. Scott, is this going to bring in 1 year $500,000, but increase my enterprise value by $2 million? Well, then are you willing to spend $50,000 to get that result, right? And you could break that down in simpler terms, like, would you pay $5 to get $50? Yes, you do that all day long. Would you pay 1 to get 10? Yes, you do that all day long. And so you're just asking on a different scale. Now, it's not going to cost you $50,000 out of the gate, so you can relax on that. But it's one of the frameworks we use when we do things in the seminars as well. So what I want to do is go over, Scott, just a few things on like the 8-figure Regen Profits licensing program that you've developed and like what the system is. So when we were thinking about, hey, you want to be able to impact a lot more people by working with clinics and business owners and people that are seeing a lot more patients, the highest form of leverage for us, right? What is the best way to do that? Because everyone has seen coaching clubs that are just pure coaching clubs, and a lot of people have just like hired agencies that you're just expecting the agency to do everything that you want. But the problem is you don't have the right messaging, and they're going to give you the cookie cutter messaging that they used on the 30 other clinics. and you're wondering, why is this not working for me? And it goes back to what we talked about earlier about like people are going to be attracted to you because of your unique story, your unique purpose and mission for people. And we'll talk about how we can help you articulate that. The other thing is you're not reaching enough people, so you don't have a one-to-many presentation. And if you've heard of this before, you're probably like, well, I know, but like I tried to do that on my own and I really sucked at it and it didn't work. Well, it's kind of like dating. Like if the first person you ever dated didn't work, none of us would be married.
Right, exactly.
Our kids wouldn't exist. Like, you just quit.
And it's just like they say, like, you know, if a kid stops trying to walk after the first time he falls down, he's never going to walk, right?
Yeah.
But like, no, you don't give up. You keep going. So
the first thing that we're just going to talk through, what you get when you work with us, is you're going to get the licensing rights. Licensing rights means everything we're about to go through here, you get to use while you're in our licensing and mentoring program, which means you're never going to be alone. You're not going to have to guess anymore. You can escape the roller coaster income and wondering and wishing where this comes from. And the first part of that is the 8-figure workshop licensing system. With that, you're going to get the stem cell webinar and PowerPoints and scripts that Dr. Scott equips with his teams that are in the field right now, generating, I mean, gosh, are you guys is 7 figures a month minimum?
yeah.
Yeah, so like I mean, months fluctuate, but you know they're doing it right now, and we want you to be able to capitalize on that. Now, one of the questions is, and we'll get into peptide and hormone optimization seminars in a second. That people always ask is, okay, great, I got that PowerPoint, I got that thing. One of the first questions people ask is like, well, how do I fill that thing? So let me just answer that right from the get-go. You're going to get the exact ads that are proven, that work every single week, that we run every single week. I mean, the stats show it. We're getting leads from anywhere between $4 per lead to $10 a lead. I'm not promising that's what's going to happen in your area because every metropolitan area is different.
Yeah, like they're up and down, but you will have probably some of the best cost per lead you've ever seen with our ads.
Yeah, and how much have you spent over the last so many years testing and tweaking?
Literally, couldn't tell you. Easily $10 million. Because one of the things I left out is I had a very large marketing agency at one point where I did this for doctors. So this isn't new ground for me. I love helping doctors. I'm excited to kind of get back into it to help their clinics. But so I managed millions of dollars a year of ads. And so got a lot of experience. Yeah,
so you're going to get the ads, the PowerPoints. The same is going to be true for the hormone webinar, hormone replacement webinar, as well as the peptide optimization webinars. Now, in full disclosure, peptides are coming out in rapid pace, and the best ones and the stacks are coming too. So we are rapidly building that and innovating with you. That's part of being a member of the program. You're going to have first dibs on all these opportunities. No one's going to have
all the new stuff.
Yeah, that's right. So that's number one. So you're going to get the licensing rights to use the exact framework, model, whatever. Now, every week, and I might be jumping ahead of my list here, but I'll talk about this because it goes to number 2. The automated one-to-many sales funnel. Now, there's a difference between having the ads and having the actual thing, but also having the exact pieces of a full system that you could literally install into your business. Now, I'm going to tell you, we have partners that could do all this for you, but what we want to make sure with the licensing, and we've priced it accordingly, is that our main focus is innovating the proper messaging and mentoring you and having that availability, which is one of the reasons why we decided we are not going to operate as an agency to run your ads. In fact, instead, we're actually going to introduce you to the exact agencies we work with. So I think it's better. I mean, it's their
100% focus. They kill it for us. We know we'll do it for them. And they know our processes.
And the value, let me ask you a question. How many agencies have you worked with in the past that have failed and just were awful?
It's literally why I had to learn and start on my own.
Yeah.
and it's why I started a marketing agency. And so, it's how I ended up developing this entire system.
Yeah.
Is because I was continually trying to figure out, how do I make it easier for my doctors? How do I make it easier for my doctors? How do I get them better leads? How do I get them? And that's all of that has gone into where this whole program came out of.
Yeah.
It's just trying to help doctors be successful in their practice, and I think we do it better now than they would out there.
I love it. So number 3, 50K in 10 minutes. So when you enroll, one of the first trainings you're going to receive is how to generate 50K in 10 minutes. Now, literally, so the training is only 10 minutes long, and you're going to be given swipe files and exactly what to do, but it is literally for the fast movers that are serious about driving cash and profit and revenue and kickstarting it. Now, why are we making this available and it's the first thing you receive? The reason why it's the first thing you receive is because we want any relationship you have with us to be a no-cost, free investment, meaning you put down your deposit on a credit card or wire money over, whatever it might be, and you deploy your first campaign to either existing patients, dormant patients, your local area, and we just are very confident it's going to put a minimum of 50K back in your practice. What do you want to add on that?
No, first time we ran it. So this is something that I did in my practice. In my regenerative practice, and first time I ran it, we did 78,000 in 36 hours.
Wow!
After running that program, and then it's one that I have rolled out for other doctors and whatnot, but we're holding it back now just for licensees are going to be the only ones that are going to be able to use those.
Yeah.
And I know you're going to get into it, but there will be more of those coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, we're going to have, I'll get into it in a second, but then we're going to be handing you guys, actually I'll skip to number 6 and I'll come back to the, but no, I mean, because what it lends perfectly into the next one, which is like our 12-month marketing calendar. So when you work with us, every single month you're going to be given a marketing calendar plus the recommended offers to send out. Now, everyone's practice or clinic's a little bit different. So, but what we do know is, guess what? November, Thanksgiving, college football. December, you have, we have Christmas, Hanukkah, we have so many things. But what I always found, and people totally miss out on this, is that you could run the same promotion for like the Christmas holiday season, and then in 4 days run the same one to end the year, and you're just, you just use different coloring, different makeup, different offer, but it just pops, man. It pops.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the same promotions, you can repeat again. So go ahead and work.
Yeah, so, you always have to be keeping things fresh in your office. And that's the thing is, so many people will get into, okay, I'm going to hire this marketing agency, they're going to start doing this, and they just do the ads and they do the marketing, they try to get people in, and then they just kind of go back into work mode. They stop doing anything new. They stop sending out new offers. They don't keep things fresh in their office. And that's what you have to do to keep this thing perpetually going. And so, honestly, with a lot of the clients that we have, that was the number one thing that they loved from us, was us saying like, okay, this month we're going to run this.
Yeah.
And we run it and they get instant cash flow. And the next one, we run it, they get instant cash flow. So we're putting all of our brains, I'm putting all my marketing mind and all that together to create those for every one of the doctors, and so you'll be able to run them, and you can bring out new services with it. You can, bring other services back to life. That
you're sitting on this stuff.
Right? You're not sitting. This is the whole ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is.
Well, can we talk that for a second? So, the thing is that we are in our business every day, right? We're in our business. So we think that people are actually thinking about us today, and they are not. And so even if you sent, hypothetically, which is why, by the way, if you're watching this in November or December, now is already too late. You got to get rolling to get momentum in January, February, March. Like that's just, you're always working on 3-month cycles, right? But like you say you send something out like on 21 days of Christmas, and because that's a theme, right? Or is it 25 days?
I think we do both. I think there's 12 days of Christmas.
Yeah, that's actually what I was saying. 12 days of Christmas. And let's say you're doing like end of the year with a new body, new life, or pain-free, whatever it might be, but you ran that same promotion on January 1st, and you're like, wow, people are still responding to this, but I just sent this to Mr. Jones last month. Guess what? Last month, he was busy doing what he was busy doing. He wasn't thinking of you.
He wasn't waiting for your ad to pop up.
He wasn't waiting for it. So that, being prolific is always better than being perfect. It just is, flat out. So we'll equip you with all those tools, those assets, what you can look at. And also, and I'll get into the mastermind too, but the fact that we're doing weekly trainings, you're going to get to hear like what's working in different clinics. Actually, I'll just hit that point on, I want to hit that last this fast. Number 4, because I'm working backwards, I'm on like number 5 right now, but high-ticket patient conversion system. You alluded to this a little bit earlier about like just training the front desk and the assistants or whomever. Can you just talk a little bit about more of that framework and what's so important to have a full spectrum conversion system?
Yeah, I mean, I always tell people the first time someone sees, and I'll just go through the full conversion system. First time someone sees you online, they're deciding if they like you or they don't. And then they take that next step. And maybe they watch something online or they, go to a dinner and they go there. And what they're doing the whole time is they're trying to figure out a reason not to trust you. They're trying to figure out a reason like, why is this off? Why shouldn't I do this? Do I really want to go to this office? And that's what we all do. We're always rating, judging, trying to see like if this is the right thing for us. And so if they see something online and you give a bad presentation, they're like, I don't know about that kind of, they come to a talk and you can't talk about money and you get all nervous and like, it's $10,000 and they bring up some kind of number and they get all nervous about it. They're like, this guy's not really confident in what he's doing. They come in and your staff is rude. You lost that person. You come in and the staff's great, but they go back and the medical examiner is not listening to them and they're just doing everything the way that they want to do it and da-da-da.
Yeah.
There's so many touch points along that road that have to be fine-tuned so that it's a well-oiled machine, because any one of them wrong will get that person to be like, I knew it. I'm going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And someone said, and this is a little bit outside of that, but kind of in the same realm. A guy told me one time, he's like, Scott, no one's going to come to your office because your garden beds are beautiful and because your grass is mowed. But they will definitely turn around from your office if your bed's full of weeds.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And your lawn isn't mowed.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good point.
So it's not like there's certain things you have to do, and again,
it's not a deal maker, it's a deal breaker though.
It's a deal breaker.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good point.
And so, like, one of the things that I realized, I had to start taking half a day at my office, and I stopped seeing patients, and I would just meet with my staff, because I realized when we were going, man. We were busy. We were seeing patients, helping patients. I didn't have time to go back to my staff. How are we answering this? Let's listen to that phone call. Let's, that kind of thing. And so, I'm not saying you have to do a half-day thing with your staff. We can help show you the simple things that your staff can do to make this, and you at least give them those parameters. Because right now, they probably haven't heard or listened to one of their calls or done anything to, look at how that whole process is going in their office. And I'm telling you, sometimes people find out things that are going in their office and they're like, I can't believe it. I can't believe how much money I've lost. I've probably lost, if they lose 2 patients a month, they're losing 10, 20 grand a month because of one system that's not in place or they're doing something wrong. And again, it's, we always say, the big doors swing on little hinges.
Yeah,
it's the nuance.
It's
the little things. Like, that's what I put in our licensing system is like, what's everything they need to do? And then we can get those things to the right people. Because our job, we're not trying to make a doctor busier.
Yeah.
We're trying to give you all the leverage points to get your office to take off.
That's right. That's right. Well, and then just for everyone watching, if you're not aware yet, intake is obviously a critical limiting factor that if you don't have a train, retrain, it's just going to be a bottleneck in your business. And then the other thing that's very important when working with agencies or whatever is like, what AI should we use? So we're going to be a mentor on that rather than the installer of all that. And I think you're going to appreciate it, why, and we'll go more in depth on that. But the other thing I've always found is like having your team trained by other people than you, number one.
Yeah.
Because frankly, we're the business owners. We're going to want to get upset, frustrated about it. Quick story is one of the doctors we work with was saying to me like, these leads just aren't really that good. And I was like, well, all right, well let me listen to a couple of the phone calls, and I did. And he had one of his favorite team members jumping on calls after the person had already watched like the interview where he explained the whole service and everything they already got. Pretty much talking the patient out of coming in because she was trying to like educate them on what are stem cells. She wasn't asking that. She literally said in the first minute, I want to book an appointment with the doctor, and I have questions about it. Where all she needed to do was get the appointment and say, Dr. Scott's going to be excited to see you, blah, blah. But here's what I want to share with everybody listening, right? This doctor, before he came to us, had already spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on elite level practice building coaching that his staff knew better. But just because they knew better doesn't mean they were being trained, optimized, and supported. You know, that's another way of saying following instructions and following the SOP.
Yeah, definitely. So when I had my chiropractic practice, there was a group that would go around the country and they would do different meetings, in person, and we could bring our staff there.
Yeah.
And I always loved that because I wanted someone else to tell them so they knew it wasn't just me saying, seeing other practices around the country that are doing the same thing and it's working, right?
Yeah.
And so we will do that and bring that to their team so that, we're letting them know just reality, right? We don't have emotion. We don't have a relationship we're trying to protect or any other things. It's just, this is how it is. This is what's going to work. This is what you got to do.
Yeah.
And so that way we can kind of be, I wouldn't really want to say the bad guy, but we said the kind and the loving parent.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The loving coach. Yeah.
Well, but in reality, we all know it's like we're just trying to set up higher expectations with the best practices to support our clients. And when we would run seminars all the time, like I'd see offices come in, and the business owner would come up to you and be like, "Yeah, I'm just really curious if this one and this one are going to be engaged in up level or not." But here's the thing: if they don't, they're doing. We're going to sidetrack on team, but this is super important because this will be your critical bottleneck if we don't help you fix it. If they don't, they're doing the biggest favor ever for you because now you gave them the opportunity, you created the best practice coaching, you put it in a good environment with good people who care about people, and if they are still not up-leveling, well then they're making their own choice and decision on it. It doesn't have to be, it's just something, hey look, we're just going in a different direction with our business, and we're going to be working with these, this is what we do now. Like this is the new behavior. You're just making it sound like you don't want to be part of it.
Yeah. Talk to them ahead of time and say, hey, this is where we're going. Do you think you can do this? And they say yes or no. If they say yes, you bring them along, and then you may have to have that hard conversation. Like, look, I really need you to be able to do this. I got to get someone that can do this. And so, obviously, we're not a good fit. Wish you the best. Give you good recommendation anywhere. Because probably what happens is you don't have a right place for them, or they just can't excel in that thing. Who's to say they might not be good at something else and whatnot? If they have a great attitude and all that, right? That you can still do that. But honestly,
the opposite is true though as well.
So 100%.
You put an A player that's underdeveloped into a developmental world, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, now we're measuring. A lot of times, I heard a good quote like, and I want to go on to the next topic because we can talk about team all day long. I mean, for some people, they're like, their cortisol levels are just bouncing.
But here's the thing: it's your biggest leverage point if you get the right people.
Yeah.
It is. But what are you gonna say about that?
Oh well, no. The thing is that a lot of times mistakes are like, well, how good are they right now versus how quickly are they trying to improve and improving? Yeah. Because the person who's like bought into your vision wants to be there, and they're they got to be smart and they're able to they have to have some talent. But if they're improving rapidly, well, that person's going to grow with you. the mistake I found in a lot of types of clinics, practices, firms, right? Because like the seasons are going well, the owner tends to create rewards and benefits and structure that they heard this one guru say, you should only be working half days, 3 days a week, and you should be netting X dollar. Well, then the person gets into that, the economy's booming, life is booming, so everybody's working like 3 days a week, half days. Susie doesn't even know what working on Friday is because she's been getting 3 days off, and all of a sudden, you're like, you know what? I want to grow. And Susie's like, dude,
Look at that kid go to work.
I'm only out. What do you guys
I do stuff on those other days.
No, man. Like, this is crazy. Because sometimes we're like, you guys a lot of this, you don't realize it. Like, with AI, and like, you have people messaging your office at 8 a.m. on a Friday, and if no one is responding till Monday at 11 a.m., because by the time they like, what are you doing? Those prospective patients are gone elsewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so the conversion system inside the business, and we were talking about like helping you find, hire, and train someone when you're ready to replace yourself. Well, then there's also the lead conversion system on a monthly basis to get the leads into the practice. And retargeting, Facebook, Instagram. Now, the reason why we're providing this for you and these opportunities is because your agencies are only going to do small bits of this. They will never take it to the customized level that we provide with our licensing clients, because guess what? The better we do a job for you, the better you do, the longer you stay with us. That's our goal. Mm-hmm. Your $1 million Rolodex, right? So the $1 million Rolodex is when you're in the program, we open the kimono completely. You get to see our ad agencies, our SEO agencies, our local search ad agencies. Keep going, Scott.
We work with some of the top people in the marketing space, CEO space, business building, scaling, private equity. I mean, like, we're just in on so many different fronts of business and sales and marketing and groups and agencies and all that we pull from that.
Yeah.
And we're trying to build the best thing possible. And I think that we are. And literally, you get all that coming in, but you say, oh, I need this in my practice. Oh, I got that. I've got someone who's done great with that. So believe me, if there's something you need in your business, typically we can find, the people at the top of the field that aren't going to, be that typical agency that takes your money. That's why we have one that we recommend that does our stuff. But yeah, we've got the best people. We've worked for, 20 plus years to build out that Rolodex of folks that.
Yeah.
Do people know what Rolodex is anymore?
I mean, a Rolodex is your network. So you hear the phrase, your net worth is in direct correlation to your net worth.
Yeah.
And so when we work together, the value is that if you have a problem that needs to be solved, we have a solution provider if we can't solve it with you, for you.
You and I have both been kind of known as connectors and just kind of known everyone and connecting people. So we do that for the offices. And the thing that I love about what I've been able to build, and you obviously did it with dentistry in the sense that we basically went out and went to people that weren't in the field. So it was like, I didn't talk to a bunch of people in medicine.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And chiropractic. I was talking to people doing 50 different types of businesses.
Right.
And I started to learn, because it's just like, so many innovations come from outside industries. Right? So it's just like, I was literally just teaching my daughter last night that we just went back to Columbus, Ohio, and I was telling her that the first Wendy's was there. And the only reason they had a drive-through was because Dave Thomas was driving through a bank one day, and he said, "Oh, I want that at my restaurant. I want to be able." That's where the drive-through window came from the bank, from the banking system. So, and that's a lot of what we bring is it's really kind of like a lot of our connections in our brain too about how different businesses work and bring it into this field, and that's where a lot of the innovations come from. is really pulling it from other industries that most people are so stuck in medical that we deal with that they've never heard of it before.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, like, did who was doing seminars before any of us were even alive? Like, probably real estate, all that stuff, politicians.
Oh, politicians, The first one was in Marion, Ohio, President Warren G. Harding.
Is that right?
The Front Porch Campaign, first time people came from around. And that was, I know this, well, I lived in Marion, Ohio, but also Albert Lasker, one of the first copywriting, marketing, and advertising gurus, wrote a book, Selling the Presidency. It was the first time this does not have anything to do with anything, just my nerdy marketingness, but it was the first time they used direct response marketing for a presidential campaign.
I love it.
Warren G. Harding, Albert Lasker.
Well, I'm not going to share it, but I was going to say, like, where I stole one of the key elements of the 50K cash search campaign, and we did this in dental practice, hundreds, maybe thousands of dental practices, came from something I saw, like, on a book offering. Like, remember those old book offerings where they get you on, and then, I'm not going to share it with you guys because this is actually what you got to hear in it. But there's a small distinction. And the only distinction is that usually when someone buys something or does some kind of action, you send them what's called a bounce back letter. What a bounce back letter is that they bounce back. So they visited your place of office and now they're going to bounce back. But the way the offer is structured is the difference between getting a 10% response and getting a 30 to 50% response. And I stole it from John Carlton. He was a legendary copywriter in the book publishing world. And I was like, oh, this is brilliant. We're adding this to dentistry, to practice. It works like gangbusters. Okay, so number 7. We're going to keep going. Number 7, so you're going to get our vital factor spreadsheet and profit analysis. So the reason why this is so important is because you're going to have opportunities to jump on the mentoring trainings with our even CFOs and our experts that we bring in to help you analyze your numbers and get profit coming out of your business. So I'm going to skip through that. I just know that, like, taking home cash and profiting are the true numbers that matter. Your revenue, your number of patients, blah, 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 number of employees. Those are all vanity metrics. The profit is what we care about. Okay. As a bonus for the first 10 or our next 10 that jump in, you will get one of our $1 million interview methods, which is what you're kind of seeing right now, which is this is what we do all the time, and we run the trainings. But what we found is that a video podcast converts so much better for professional practices than solo people speaking straight to a camera, talking like a podcaster, or selling. Now, that's different, by the way, than doing a one-to-many presentation, that you have a full presentation. The reason why you want both, and I charge, you'd be paying minimum $15,000 to get one of these interviews. But when you stack a workshop, virtual or in person, so as you know, is a webinar or a lunch and learn or dinner, and then you also have the interview, you are immediately stacking and layering 2 different authority assets, 2 and 2 is 4, so I like this 2, where they see you on stage or somebody on stage in your practice, and then they see you as being interviewed. You are going to be considered the foremost authority in your marketplace. We'll show you how. We'll use AI to help chop up all the pieces, and instantly, in less than an hour, you're going to have so many assets that you're going to deploy to raise awareness amongst the patients that can come into your office. Okay? Now, I want to talk about money, and then I'm going to see if there's any other last comments you have. Mike?
Cool. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, I'm not going to tell you what the investment is yet, because guess what? The investment is only going up from here. So, after watching this video, I highly recommend you click on the button below, and you'll see the current investment opportunity. I will tell you that if you are doing things correctly, it'll be equivalent to around
the value of one good quality patient that you bring into your office. And then the monthly licensing fee is for ongoing use of the rights and ongoing optimization of all the marketing that our team builds out for you and Dr. Scott creates. And if at any time you decide, hey, look, I'm going to cancel my licensing, not a problem. You stop paying, but you also simultaneously can't use the licensing materials anymore. Otherwise, you should be making 10, 20, 30 times what that fee looks like a month. So, so what questions do you think you'd want to answer or address before we let everybody go to the next step?
I mean, honestly, it's one of those things where I think most doctors, really every doctor that I've worked with in the past has needed some type of system like this. I mean, it's the only reason we created it is because, well, first of all, I wanted to do it for myself.
Yeah.
And we've seen the results with it. I mean, really what I want to come back to is my goal is to help other doctors to grow their practice and to really expand my reach to help more patients.
Yeah.
And help change doctors' lives, because I've been in a place where maybe you talked about numbers. Like I didn't know my numbers. Like it looked like we were making a bunch of money, but we weren't. At the end of the day, it's like, where's all my money? Like helping doctors even with that. I mean, they may have a practice where they could keep a lot more. They're just not because they don't have things structured right, etc. So, like, we just want to be able to help people do all the right things to be able to become successful, to help patients get the care they need. Because so many docs are losing patients for reasons they don't even know. And there's so many that people are going to be beating down the doors for peptides and regenerative medicine and all these things. We want you to be positioned to be able to take those folks, help people, and be the one that they're looking for, and be the top that makes the most money, helps the most people, and you become the most valuable clinic.
Well, even though, you know what's so crazy with that, and then just I want to piggyback. Then I want you to do the final close, your favorite close.
Oh.
We actually teach people how to do
My close,
yeah. But on that, there's really a first mover advantage out of this, right? Like we all know peptides are booming now, and they're only going to boom more.
Yeah.
I get to see anybody doing a one-to-many workshops, especially for local businesses. Guys, listen to me. You have such an advantage that nationwide businesses don't. Like, you think, oh well, it's nationwide. They're gonna have so many more people to sell to. There's truth in that in some levels. However, you are the one-eyed king in the land of the blind when you do this kind of stuff locally, because nobody knows how to do this. When you try to go nationally, it sounds like it's more attractive, it's sexier, all stuff, but you're competing with all the nationwide big money players. Locally, you're dealing with Bob down the street who he might drive a nice car, he might do whatever, but Bob just wants to go golfing or do his thing and look good and work this. You had a one-to-many leverage point marketing system, combine it with a 24 touch points throughout the year, because that's part of our marketing calendar, and with all the mentoring and conversion, you're going to be at a completely different place in 6 months, 9 months, 3 months, 12 months from now. It's not even going to be the same world. The real question you got to ask yourself is like, well, what do I want? Is this what I want? Is this what I want to try and accomplish? Is this what I want to be a part of? Is this where I want to keep up leveling? And if it is, we'd love to have you. If you're totally cool, you're a giver, you're a contributor to other people. So when we do our mentoring and masterminding stuff, we don't want a room full of just takers only. We want the multiplied testing effect, which means if he's testing stuff and I have 22 other practices testing things, we all benefit from all of us testing more stuff. Yeah. Okay? As far as territory exclusive, now here's an answer, because I know you're going to ask the question. So you get to, when you join, you get to tell us 2 clinics that you'd like us to blacklist, meaning while you're part of our program, we cannot offer the licensing program to them, okay? The reason why we don't do zip codes and do cities and do this stuff, oh, well, other people do that. Listen to me, we've done it all, we've tried it all. It's nearly impossible to actually enforce it, number one. Number two is, if I have a 55-year-old white male
who is ripped, jacked, and loves talking about testosterone, and I have a 45-year-old female who likes talking and working with women, we're not going to deny them both from helping people, okay? We do give them deference to rule out a couple of people they feel are direct competitors, but that's it. Otherwise, we're going to raise the awareness of everybody in your community, so guess what? More people are going to be choosing your practice because you're doing this, okay? If you're in business and you're looking to grow the business, and if you want to increase your valuation, you want to start working with more people and find a pathway to freedom, we've priced it accordingly, it's economical, any real person would see like, look, this is an investment I can make. If you have questions, you can talk to us or our team. And with all that, I'm going to pass it over to Dr. Scott to share his final close.
So I like to end all my videos and my talks with really one last statement, and that's just by a book by James Allen, the classic author. His book, As a Man Thinketh, he said, "Men are anxious to improve their circumstances, but are unwilling to improve themselves. They therefore remain bound." And that describes most people, right? That describes our friends, maybe even colleagues that complain about the business not growing, insurance paying less, and this not working, that not working, but they're not trying anything new. They're literally doing the exact same thing and expecting something to change, right? And what's the definition of insanity? We've all been told it's doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, right? So the reality is over the past several years, the system that I've put together has helped generate tens of millions of dollars of regenerative sales. And it's not just about the sales. It's what that really is a gauge of is how many people we help. And we've been able to help more people through regenerative medicine than probably most clinics out there or most groups. And the thing is that we want to bring that to you. And we want to bring that to help you. Now, I just want to say, if you're super happy with your current model, if you love the way things are going, you love the insurance reimbursements or how you guys run things at your office, feel free to ignore everything Ed and I talked about today, okay? You don't have to do anything with us. There's no pressure, no obligation. But I would guess if you've come this far in this video, that there's probably something you want to change, right? There's probably some aspect of your business that you want to fix. So really all I want to say is don't come up to this point at the point of decision only to turn your back on the opportunity to find out if this could work for you and possibly change your life like it changed mine. The reason I'm sharing this is because it changed my life. It did give me freedom. It gave me a totally different lifestyle, and I really do want to help you attain that, and I know you can because I've done this with people that have doubted themselves before, and they've doubted that this thing could happen in their town, in their practice, and everyone that they deal with. I'm telling you, you use this system, it can definitely change your life and help you become the practitioner you want to be. So you don't have to worry about all this business stuff and the sales stuff. Let the system do the job so you can deliver the service and help the amount of people that you want to help. So go ahead and push that button below, sign up with us, and I guarantee it's going to be one of the best decisions you've ever made.